Hi there, I'm Matt Holland and you're watching Irish Football Fan TV.
Hello and welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. This is our final word show from Poland 1, Republic of Ireland 1. Johnny, sum that up. After you know all the doom and gloom and all the negatives surrounding the camp and everything like that, coming into this one, what were your thoughts before the game?
I was dreading the game, absolutely dreading the game. And look, I know.
Check my posture.
Check your posture, yeah. We'll Kieran on the show there taking the piss out of both our postures the last time, so got to make sure everything's right.
Carrying a few.
Yeah, no, the game itself was such a friendly, dead vibe to it, I thought, which suited us. It allowed us to kind of grow into the game. It allowed us to possibly, we started passing the ball around a bit. I'd even go as far as saying we controlled the opening half.
Yeah, we'll come into that, but I'm just saying before.
Before I was
like, what were your thoughts? I
was dreading.
I was thinking how many.
I was dreading it. It just didn't get any sort of. Usually, when it's an Ireland game, you're all excited and all that. It was just. I think the negativity of everything had just sucked me down, and no, I was dreading coming into the game.
Yeah, well, I think that the thing that kind of changed everyone's minds when everyone's in the lineup, and you actually sent it to me, and it was Randolph and goal, you had Christie, Keogh, Egan, number 10. Oddly, even he was making jokes about it.
Yeah, wing forward for Kerry.
This is it. Then you had Kevin Long, and then you had Enda Stevens, who rolled his ankle before the game, but somehow it was okay. Probably had Roy Keane calling him.
No, Roy Keane was definitely in his ear before, and when Roy Keane says you're not injured, you play and all that, don't you?
So then you kind of moving it. It seemed to be like a 5-3-2 formation. You had O'Dowda in midfield, kind of to the left of the centre, and then you had Shaun Williams, holding midfield, and then obviously Hendrick on the right, kind of similar to what he does with Burnley. He plays that kind of more advanced role. And then up top, then you went with Aiden O'Brien and Callum Robinson. I thought Aiden O'Brien was a surprise.
He was a surprise, but
a welcome surprise.
Yeah, he added that freshness to the team. We actually had, although I think I spoke about the match reaction or whatever, he was holding the ball up pretty well. Now it was so weird. Like, we've been used to back in the day. Like, I know Walters has played up there, but he's kind of struggled the last couple of games. But all of a sudden, someone to hold up the ball, and there was even like second balls where it was almost like we expected them not to win them or whatever. They were just a little bit off. But yeah, definitely. He added structure to the whole team. He added that focal point that we could actually come out. And then when we had a couple of extra guys at the back I thought all three centre backs did very well. And kind of dispersed the myth that we can't play with the ball, etc. I thought they were all very comfortable on the ball. And it was just a freshness about the team. And as I said before, maybe this is Martin O'Neill's answer to all these critics a certain amount of times is he's got a couple of days with them, the guys training in camp. They definitely looked a lot more structured. The whole setup really did.
Well, I don't think that as many people have that much of an issue, because we actually we had a style of play this time, and that was the difference. You had people dropping deep to collect the ball off the centre halves. Mainly Shaun Williams, he was dropping deep, looking for it, getting the ball, coming in between the players. And I think the fact that they had the three at the back actually opened up spaces for the players to come and receive the ball. I thought Egan was great on the ball.
He was.
As well. I thought Keogh was very good as well. I thought Kevin Long, and they were saying on commentary that the left side of the back three isn't really his best position. So it might be interesting if he moves over to a different side or something, how he would fare in that back three. But he didn't have a bad game either way. I don't think anyone really had a bad game. But I mean, we got lucky early on because there was a long throw came in, and we were getting pressed back a lot by the Polish anyway. But the long throw came in, it was flicked on, and then Milik. He should have made it 1-0, and the thing is, we were lucky because if Lewandowski was in that position, it was 1-0. And we were lucky that he didn't play. I know they were obviously resting him for Bayern Munich. The friendly didn't really mean that much to them. It seems the pace wasn't really there.
No, it wasn't.
But I know we were quite thankful that he wasn't playing anyway, so I'll take that.
For sure.
But still, Milik is a very good striker either way. But anyway, that was our, kick up the arse pretty much, and I think that's when we were like, okay, we
kind of grew into the game, didn't we? Then it was kind of like, obviously, look, the squad, look, they haven't been under a rock. They know damn well what's going on. They've heard all the negative reaction, etc. You couldn't really miss it, but definitely it was very much a stage that at the longer the game went on, we kind of grew, and it's like, oh no, this is actually working. Let's push on a bit more. And interestingly, like, come to half time, we had more possession of the football. it seems a long time since an Ireland team has had that in a game. Like Poland are a decent outfit. I know they rested a few, whatever, but they're still a decent outfit.
They beat Italy. I know Italy are going through a bit of a bad class players. But what I was going to say was Martin O'Neill has gone on, and you see that interview on Off the Ball where he's saying players stop being so afraid of being on the ball. I mean, I don't think anyone looked afraid in that game, but I think there is that thing where it's a friendly, so you don't know whether if they're going to keep up that pace exactly. If they're going to keep up that pace in a qualifying game or competitive game.
But definitely with three at the back, a couple of guys that are comfortable with the ball in the back. Williams, who's in front, wanted the ball on every occasion, showed a nice range of passing as well. Got everything taken, and then with the focal point up front, all of a sudden that's a nice base around the whole time. It gives the guys an opportunity to get a foothold of a game and get a grip on it. And like too often lately, it's been poof. Nobody's been off. No one knows when to press. No one knows to sit back. We've got caught like Wales did us how many times where we've pushed up and they've come in behind us. At least now it looked like there was a structure. It looked like there was a team shape. It looked like we actually knew what we were doing. And I think definitely going forward, I know there's a couple of games maybe where the USA game in particular where maybe three at the back didn't really work and we've had to change it, but I still think it gets the best.
I thought there was a lot of messing around that USA game because of John O'Shea, basically being his testimonial, and there was all that kind of into it as well. So like John O'Shea is he's quite old fashioned in a way. He can play ball. He played right back for Man United for a season when they got to the Champions League final
as well, didn't he?
Exactly.
And a goal.
So he's well able to play in football, like, do you know what I mean? But the way he was playing at Sunderland, I think was more of a case.
Particularly as his career went on as well, and lost a yard of pace. But like you look at it in UK, you can say Long might be the most comfortable left-sided, but Clark's a left footer. He can sit in there. There's options. Kyo, who I think he kind of almost not rolled back the years. That's a bit disrespectful, but definitely got himself in the limelight again.
He's never really let Ireland down.
Always been a fan of. I know there's a couple of friendlies where question mark. He got skinned a couple of times, perhaps, but. He's when you want like him in the middle of a three.
When it's a game that's got pressure on it, I think that's what you mean. Is when there's pressure on a game and they're like, we have to win or we have to get a result. He does tend to produce in those games, and
he's a leader.
Yeah, I suppose he's derby captain and everything like that.
He's a leader.
But I was really happy with our defence anyway. Coming into midfield and then up top, I thought O'Brien was brilliant holding the ball up. And then bringing other people into play. This is exactly what we've been kind of crying out for, and that's what we've been saying about Pat Hooban, is he does exactly that with Dundalk.
Absolutely.
People say, well, he's not up to that standard, but he hasn't been given a chance. So, in my opinion, how can you kind of say that about someone who hasn't been given a chance at international level? But anyway, that's a story for a different day. But O'Brien, for me, like, he was brilliant. Arms were up, chest was out. He was coming, although a lot of the time he was winning just inside our half, but he was still getting us up the pitch, and that was important. Because, as I said at the start of the game, we were getting pressed back a lot, even though we were keeping the ball. And there was times where, I think Egan was our last line of keeping the ball under the keeper, obviously. But I mean, in terms of having an outlet at times, there was times where Paul just had pressed on everyone and he had no real option but to give it back to the keeper. And then him be the one looking for the space. So if there's someone pressed, he could be the one.
He gave us an out ball, and it's definitely something that we can work on. You'll think of, I don't know, maybe the likes of Brady, even McLean to a certain extent, that where they are comfortable running, even O'Dowda as well, they are comfortable running past. There's almost that second runner, and if you have O'Brien holding up, there's opportunity them to fly by and hold it up. You can definitely see him moulding that, that midfield, our midfielders, even our fullbacks to a certain extent, or wing backs if you go with this system, get them into play.
I really like Enda Stevens at that left wing back position. But the only problem I'd say now is that if probably Brady comes back, does he play left wing back, or does he play similar to O'Dowda or Hendrick? Do you know, that type of way? And
I personally,
I think if Robbie Brady's fit, though, he has to be in there. He's probably
for sure he has to get in the team.
He's our spark player.
It's a question of where you put him. I'm probably, like, if Stevens continues that form, I'd be more inclined to play him on the left, maybe where O'Dowda was.
Brady, you mean?
So yeah, play Brady instead of O'Dowda on that left of a midfield three.
Mm-hmm,
and again, you have, and almost give him the license to cut in that left channel, which is, it's going to be so much room there, and especially if you have O'Brien or whoever it is up front holding, and then you can run past them. I think that's going to be our most effective way of playing football.
Yeah, I just don't think O'Brien is the complete answer. He was good, yes, as a friendly, but
of course.
He'll be judged on competitive games, and I think that's fair.
But it's all of a sudden it's a different option, isn't it? Like Maguire might come in and play that role. We both like to see Hogan. I don't see that happening. So
Scott Hogan be more of a realistic.
Hogan as well. But look, all of a sudden there's a few options there where we spoke. I think it was before this these set of fixtures where we're like, what do we have up front? We're looking so scarce. We're relying on pretty much Walters. Long as injured, where are we going to go? Now we have at least. We looks like we appear to have a few options.
Yeah, and then there's obviously Graham Burke who can play in between both as well.
Again, he's another one of these players that will thrive best under a guy, if it is O'Brien or whoever it is, up front and to hold up the ball and just run in behind, because he's very much a guy that
he's one of those players who arrives late in the box and scores, similar to obviously kind of getting onto it now, but the O'Brien goal, great bit of play by Cyrus Christie, surging run into the box, and then it goes out for a corner. He takes a shot, where that shot would have went. But we score from the resulting corner. Yeah,
I just remember being at home, like watching it just around the phase of the corner. I remember thinking, Jesus, this is so much better. There's actually a bit of structure. We didn't just get the ball and lash in the box. There was a bit of movement. It was a nice bit of play between the guys, and then
Hendrick and Keogh.
Yeah, Hendrick, Keogh, and then it was back to O'Dowda, and he gets back onto his left foot.
That first touch was brilliant.
Yeah, and cuts inside. And was it just me, or did anyone else get kind of visions of Brady's goal against Italy?
Yeah, it was quite similar. I had a little glance.
Yeah, it was. It just felt like that to me. There was, Jesus, I've seen this before, sort of thing. But great goal. Delighted for the kid. You could see it meant a lot to him. It was the goal we needed. You saw huge relief amongst all the squad. I think they were all pretty much by and large in a huddle together celebrating, and it was. It didn't feel so much better once you felt that ball hitting the net. You're like, oh yes, this is actually something here.
Well, it was the only bit of positivity throughout the whole international break, in my opinion. That goal was it just turned the doom and gloom at that point. I mean, we were playing nice football and slowly getting into it and stuff like that. But it was like I always kind of had that that feeling that all this possessional play, are we going to concede? So to go out and actually get the goal, and we really went at them, obviously, with, as I said, about Christie getting in the box and really going for it. He really showed his quality. But then straight after that, I don't know what Martin O'Neill was thinking, because as the goals scored, Moyler and Doherty are coming on. So I don't know the thinking behind that, because obviously Moyler's more of a sitting midfielder. To put him in there with Williams, I don't know what the thought process would have been. But regardless, they came on. Doherty didn't do himself any harm. He wasn't a superstar in the game, but he didn't do himself any harm.
Yeah, I thought he was lucky a couple of times where he made great runs and the ball just wasn't passed to him. I remember even you see him going, why didn't pass him, because he's completely free in the right after making a great run. He just needs time in the team. I don't
game time.
Get the yes, Christie, fair enough, but what does he do to get into the team? Like that struggles me a bit about O'Neill. He's saying like we don't have Premier League footballers, etc., etc. Here's one playing very well.
So the fella who saying that you start drinking every time Johnny says etc. Get drinking.
Oh yeah, you're getting skint, are you? Yeah, etc. One more for the road, but like he's coming in, he's doing well. O'Neill then makes these strange comments about how he likes him to cut in a bit more. I thought it was a bit strange. Like, he's doing very well in a Wolves team.
He cuts back and crosses it rather than beating his man and crossing.
And the ironic thing is, the goal that we score is from a cut inside, not across the.
I think he just wants it from him as a fullback, because he says that Seamus takes on players, Cyrus takes on
but
players.
Coleman's been poor in attacking threat for a while as well. The injury looks like what appears to be a knock turns out to be a little stress factor or something like that, out for a couple of weeks.
Hairline fracture is going to be out for about 8 weeks, or they can take about 8 weeks to heal.
Jesus, that's rough news.
Bad news for Ireland and Everton.
Well, short term, more importantly for Everton, but the subs changing. But at the same time, I thought we were kind of, I thought we managed the game relatively okay. They didn't really have a raft of opportunities before the goal. I thought we definitely dropped a bit. It's understandable the way he's made a couple of defensive-minded changes. But, yeah, look, do you want to lead on before we get into the equaliser? I just thought we looked like we were going to, calm it down. The home crowd were going even more nuts. Like, they were going pretty crappy in the first half. Randolph was kind of taking his time with a couple of free kicks and whatnot, but they felt like it was almost like us, our fans, if you know what I mean. It was roles reversal where we're going up, all the Irish guys in the crowd. You hear the fields of Athenry bouncing around the place. You hear all the usual songs as opposed to the boom boom boom, the negative stuff, and then that's almost a flip, but then the goal happens.
Yeah, we get to go in a minute. I think there was just the fact that we made so many subs in such a quick amount of time that I don't think a lot of people. I remember watching Boyle. He was running around midfield like a madman. As you had Williams sitting there, I just thought it was a bit odd. Like he's put in there maybe as I know he replaced Hendrick, but was he the attacking midfielder? I just didn't understand the subs. It was a bit weird. Then he brings on Hoover for Williams then, and we just kind of lacked that bit of protection that Williams was giving us. He brings on Horgan then for O'Brien, and then I think Adam Judge came on at the end after they'd scored. But just the subs were a bit odd. I understand he wants to give everyone a run.
I see why he wants to get them on, but we had found an effective player having a deep line of ball play in 6, and the system was working very well. Then when Marlon comes on, he's not that. You've taken Hendrick out, which is, as you said, is the attacking on the left side.
On the right.
He was on the right. Yeah, beg your pardon. And then, but it felt imbalanced. It felt like thrown together. It didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, at the time I remember texting you and going, this would be a massive result if we can get it, and you were like, I don't think they're gonna come back.
No, it didn't, because they were dead. The crowd was giving them shit. Everything was just doom gloom. We had kind of zapped the life out of the game, and then.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was unlucky, to be fair, and
I was so pissed off for that goal.
Yeah, but it was one of them. It was a great pass. Egan comes out to block. I think it's Click is the name, plays for Leeds. He comes out to block him. He gives it, and then he's gone. And then Keogh comes over. He's just a little bit a yard off it, and it was a great finish, to be fair. He took it well, first touch well, and then he made it.
How can you be in that position where you have control of the ball in midfield with a back three to a guy going straight through? It just felt so wrong. It was like misplaced. They overrun us. We all step off, leave a big hole, and he just comes around. Defender Keogh can't come across in time. It just felt so naive. I was so pissed off when that goal went, because I just felt we needed to get over the line. I think we needed this victory. We needed this just to push on. That felt like, look, don't get me wrong, friendly result isn't the end of the world by any means of form, but it zapped the life out of it. I felt so frustrated. I was like, higher, because I didn't see them scoring.
Yeah, well, if you had asked me before the game, I would have been, I'm off for a point.
Yeah,
there's a bit of positivity that came with it. The fact that we were just, as I said, we were lacking that bit of protection in exactly the position that Williams was playing in, and then they scored. It was just, frustrated. Well, I wasn't even that frustrated. I was a bit, I wouldn't say upset. Okay, it was a little bit disappointing, but I mean, I wasn't going, oh no, this is the end of the world. But what I was fearful was they nearly scored straight away after.
Yeah,
that would have taken all the good.
Like, they just came to life after that goal. There was just boom, 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 and then that's when you saw our imbalanced midfield.
Yeah, but that was the problem, is that they had all the momentum. Like, they were just getting the ball. They were trying to come at us, and eventually, you go at something for so long. Eventually, you're going to break it down, and they got their goal. But I mean, as I say, out of the whole game, what positives can you take from it? I mean,
the system, the proof that the system works, the proof that the players are capable of passing the ball. Williams, for me, in the 6, it's a breath of fresh air. It's struggling to find a player like that. The most frustrating thing again about him is, how is this another talented player, only getting the opportunity towards the tail end of his career? That's a big frustration for me. But his performance has to be a positive. He really, really got us going. O'Brien, I think, as well, while not perfect, definitely showed an outlet, definitely showed an option, definitely showed, I think, what we need up front. If it needs to be improved a little, but yeah, no, coming into it so negatively, there's a lot of positives there to take out of that performance.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. I thought O'Brien up top as well was another positive as well. Robinson throughout the two games was a positive
absolutely.
as well. So
Lovely hair.
Lovely hair. Just want to touch it. As I put out that tweet after. But yeah, I mean, the negatives are obviously Keane's still there. Just talking Coleman coming in and playing peacemaker to get Harry Arthur back. I just think it's a lot of nonsense, really. He shouldn't have to really be doing that. He should just be. No. It should just be a case of, you go. Just like I think a lot of fans are kind of sick of Keane at this point.
Yeah, like we've said so many times, wonderful player, had that edge to him all throughout, but was able to outweigh that with positive performances on the pitch. Now we still have the nitty bitterness, completely over the top at times, but you're struggling to find the positives to go with it. And people go on about modern day footballers being soft a bit of it. It's like, what is Keane going to achieve by slating someone like that? And it's like people go, oh, it really is the clip happened, is that taken out of context, etc. Maybe it wasn't as bad as it can. You only have to look at the list of players that have come out and gone, yeah, he's done that to me, I've seen it a lot worse, he used to go a hell of a lot more. What he's trying to achieve in that sense, I don't understand what he is trying to achieve. And when it comes to like that, like Arthur, not the best player in the world, but one of our best midfielders. One of our, you look at form players of the Irish squad at the moment, you'll struggle to find a midfielder in better form than him.
Yeah. Look
at his performance against Arsenal.
Yeah, he was very good.
He was incredible. Why isn't he involved? Why is stuff like that happening? Why are the manager and the assistant manager keep going back to someone that managed 40 years ago that we don't know would do well in this current environment? If Keane and O'Neill keep quoting wonderful manager, etc., but like if you keep talk about something in a previous life, why are you not talking about stuff that's happening now? Why are you not talking about stuff that's involved in the current setup?
No, I agree with you in that sense. The game's moved on a lot since Clough has been around. So I mean, and the fact that they keep going on about Roy demands all these players these standards. He demanded those as a player when he was playing on the pitch with these players, and he brought that winning mentality. He was playing with the Paul Scholeses and the Ryan Giggs of this world, and Ruud van Nistelrooy's, top class players. The players we have now at the moment aren't top class. They're good, but they're top class. I think one thing that we kind of have to highlight here is the fact that we do have a good amount of players coming back. Well, we hope that we will be back for the Denmark and Wales game. I mean, you're looking at there's a lot of players in there that missed out. There's Scott Hogan, Sean Maguire,
Brady,
Shane Long as well.
Yeah.
People want to say, he doesn't score and everything like that, but he is our only Premier League striker at the moment. There's Walters isn't.
Yeah.
And he's a championship player now anyway, Walters. Yeah. But McLean has to come back. Not sure if he'll be back in time for that because he's injured, but maybe. You have. There's a couple of midfielders missing. James McCarthy, he's due back training now later this month as well. If he gets a couple of games under his belt, he tends to do really well when he comes back in. He was doing really well before he broke his leg as well.
Yeah, he was flying out, wasn't he? Yeah.
He actually was making the challenge and broke his leg by winning a tackle. But that's McCarthy for you. A lot of people don't rate him. I don't see why. I think he's a fabulous midfielder and exactly what we need.
Very effective player, and we spoke about Williams, and that role is perfect for McCarthy.
Oh yeah, and if we play that system, play that type of football, it would be ideal. I think, as well as that, I think he could definitely Egan showed he could play international football as well. That's another positive. But players that come back, there is a good few. I mean, I'm only thinking off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more. People can let us know in the comments, and I'm sure they will. Because to be fair, a lot of people have been putting a lot of comments in there. Yeah, a lot of very good comments, to be fair, as well. I have to say.
It's good to see interaction, like we all have opinion.
And we read them all, so don't think that we don't.
Football is all about opinions at the end of the day, and it's good just to create a bit of debate back and forth. That's the whole idea of the platform of the show. But yeah, no, just want to say one thing that's been on my mind about Keane as well. Like, people talk about, demands this, he did that, or whatever, and this means and players have gone soft, etc., etc., etc. Okay, if this
the drinking mate,
if this style, whatever way you want to call it, of people call it people management, non-people management, I suppose, is more of an apt description of it, of abusing players and showing that type of attitude to our players. If that works so effectively, why is Keane struggled so much in management? Why isn't Keane a manager at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show, he was assistant manager at Aston Villa as well. That didn't go.
Yeah, Sutherland did well at the start. Momentum, it was new. There was a lot of money being pumped into it. It fell apart nastily. We don't even have to speak about Ipswich. That just was absolute shambles.
Yeah, then it was Villa as an assistant manager.
Villa's assistant manager didn't last very long, and now the current gig.
Yeah, but the thing is that he gets in so many arguments. If you look at it, it all kind of really started when Roberto Martinez was the Everton manager, and he was calling out, oh well, McCarthy was injured, and then he was getting called up, and Coleman was the same, and then he was like starting a big row with Everton, which he just didn't really need to do. And he didn't see O'Neill come out and do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was all kind of, I'm back in the media again. I'm going to say something smart now, etc. Box office materially, and I was about to say the drinking game again, but
he did say it.
All that package, if you want to call it, with him. It's interesting to know the last couple of incidents, O'Neill hasn't defended him. He spoke about the Harry Arthur incident. I can't deny that didn't happen.
But he did back him.
He backed him to a certain extent, but he said he didn't try and cover it up. There's been a couple of times where I felt like before, if you really were on close together, you'll make up some absolute bullshit and you'll cover it up. It was straight away. He was brutally honest with the whole thing. I can't deny that didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, whereas I felt before, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but
I think you are.
Fair enough. But I just go back to saying.
No, go on. What you're saying. I
just feel like if there was a common bond between the two, and he really, really felt that he was right, he would have denied it happened.
I don't think he can deny these types of things. I think it would have come out one way or another.
There's been plenty of stories that O'Neill has covered up before. Plenty of stuff that managers have covered up before. Again, maybe don't listen to me. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but
I thought he backed him, and I just thought it was like a case of I'm here, and as long as I'm here, Roy's here, and that's the general impression I got. So I thought he backed him. I mean, again, it's another thing that they can let us know in the comments, because he was sitting here and arguing between us isn't gonna get to the bottom of the problem. But no, I think we'll leave it at that. And let us know what you think in the comments. What are your plans for Ireland going forward? Where do you think the future lies? Are you pro Man O'Neill and Roy Keane, or do you want to see a new manager? What did you think of the game versus Poland? Did you see any positives? Do you agree on the positives we came up with?
Do you like the system? Do you think the system will go forward? Who gets to play? Who should we call into the squad? Endless, really, isn't it?
Do you like the new drinking game that Johnny says, etc.?
Are you all buckled by now?
So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you haven't followed us on Twitter, actually we are just under the 5,000 mark.
Almost
so
there.
Head over and give us a follow there if you like our content, and drop a like on the video. Thank you very much for watching Irish Football Fan TV. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button now, and if you never want to miss a video, click the bell for alerts. For all our other social media platforms, check out this list below. And as always, thank you very much for watching Irish Football Fan TV.
Well, in terms of Wales,